everyone. Welcome to Horror Acting 101. My name is Nina. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm going to be one of your teaching artists here today. And I'm joined with...
I'm Brad. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be teaching with Nina. And in our class, we're going to be going over using our our bodies, our voices, and our imaginations to act out some scary stories and monsters and stuff. So we want to get started with you today on getting a little warmed up because we're going to use our tools of an actor today. And so we want to make sure we get them all warmed up. So an actor has three tools: their voice, their body, and their imagination is how they tell stories. So we want to get all three of these things warmed up. So I think for starters, we're going to do a little bit of a shakeout, because imagine we just went through a haunted house or something and we're covered in cobwebs. What's going to happen is we're going to do a shakeout. So basically, also I should say, just for as if there's any access need adjustments or anything, if we say haven't give you any physical directions and for whatever reason maybe you can't do it quite as we say it, like maybe you can't raise your arms above your head, just adjust it. Feel free to adjust it, and you can maybe just put your arms down here instead, or just do your shoulders, or however you need to adjust. Any movement we go through today is a-okay, and then up to you. All right, so first off, let's get these cobwebs off our bodies. So what we're going to do is we're going to shake our right arm and our left arm, and then our right leg and our left leg. Be safe about it, though. Yeah, make sure you have ample space. So we're going to count down from 5, and follow along with me, okay? All right, here we go. We're covered in webs. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's do 4 now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, I think that's all the cobwebs. All right, Nina, what's next?
You know, I think if we are going to be our scream queens, I think we need to warm up our faces. You know, a lot of acting is just right up here, and, you know, you're going to get a good look at our faces, so might as well exercise them. So this is a kind of a combo. You get to do a little bit of face movement, and you also get a little bit of a vocal warm-up, but I know Brad will give us a little bit more of a vocal warm-up later. So let's get those facial muscles ready. This is something that I like to call sour candy and monster. Try to think about two different things. So our sour candy, how do you experience eating a sour candy? You know, maybe you like, have you ever had a warhead? Like those super, super sour candies that just makes your whole body just shrivel up like a lemon. So for sour candy, whenever I say sour candy, you're going to scrunch your face as small as it can possibly get. Your eyes, your nose, your cheeks, whatever you have on your face, get it as small as possible. And then for monster, we're going to be the opposite. We're going to go as wide out as we possibly can. So that can be, if we're going from really small, it can be bah. So open your eyes as much as you can, your mouth, your ears, whatever it happens to be, as big as you possibly can to your own, however your body feels good with. So let's start with our faces, and then maybe the second time we do our sour and our monster, maybe we add a little bit more. Maybe we add a little shoulder. Maybe we add a little hands. Whatever it happens to be, let's try it. So for this first one, let's just do our faces, okay? So sour candy, as small as we possibly can with our face. Little. Yeah, and then monster, as big as you possibly can. Awesome. And then sour candy, and maybe we're also putting in our bodies, maybe scrunching those shoulders, maybe they go up to your ears, maybe your hands curl up as small as you possibly can. And then out, monster. In the same way, maybe you puff out your chest, you open your arms, whatever it happens to be, monster. Okay? And final time, sour candy, super, super small. Maybe this time you add a little bit of sound. What is the smallest sound you can possibly make? Is it a something like that, something high squeaky? Sour candy. And then monster, whatever that sounds like, protecting your voices. Maybe it's a ah, or like a roar, as big as you possibly can. And very good. Let's release that. And I think
Ooh,
Brad will lead us into some more
yeah.
vocal.
Let's get our lips warmed up. Ooh, that was monstrous. All right, we're gonna do some quick tongue twisters to get our lips, our articulators warmed up. So repeat after me. Dracula digs dreary dark dungeons. Nice. All right, let's go a little faster this time. Dracula digs dreary dark dungeons. Nice. Let's go even faster this time. Dracula digs dreary dark dungeons.
Dracula digs through our dungeons.
Nice. Let's go together real fast. Together. Dracula digs dreary dark dungeons. Whew. All right.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and add another one.
Yeah.
A little different. How about ghostly ghouls gather gleefully to golf on ghostly golf courses? Now that's a long one, so let me say it one more time. So it's ghostly ghouls gather gleefully to golf on ghostly golf courses. And a little bit faster. Ghostly ghouls gather gleefully on... Let's try that one more time. Ghostly ghouls gather gleefully to golf on ghostly golf courses. Say it with me. Ghostly ghouls gather gleefully to golf on ghostly golf courses. And a little bit faster, as fast as you can. Ghostly ghouls gather gleefully to golf on ghostly golf courses. You see, even I mess up a little bit.
That's hard. That's hard. We got some more there. Let's go with gobbling gargoyles, gobbled, gobbling goblins. So let's do it again with me, a little faster this time. Gobbling gargoyles, gobbled, gobbling goblins. Whew. All right, let's go into overdrive now. Here we go. Let's go as fast as we can. All right. Gobbling gargoyles, gobbling gargoyles, gobbled, gobbling goblins. Oh man. Whew. Nina, do you have another one?
All right, let's do. I'm going to do it slower first. If big black bats could blow bubbles, how big of bubbles would big black bats blow? So really work those articulators. Let's hear it one more time. If big black bats could blow bubbles, how big of bubbles would big black bats blow? And faster. If big black bats could blow bubbles, how big of bubbles would big black bats blow? And one more time, as fast as we can. If big black bats could blow bubbles, how big of bubbles would big black bats blow? All right, Brad, take it away. Next one.
All right, here we go. Ooh, these are getting crazy. These are getting hard. This next one is, if two witches would watch two watches, which witch would watch which watch? Here it is one more time. If two witches would watch two watches, which witch would watch which watch? Whew. All right, let's try a little bit faster this time with me. If two witches would watch two watches, which witch would watch which watch? Let's try one last time in overdrive. Okay, whew, here we go. If two witches would watch two watches, which would watch which watch? Oh, whew,
wow,
that was tough.
Okay, that was. Whew. Okay, so our last one here, real good one. Professional pumpkin pickers are prone to pick the plumpest pumpkins. One more time. Professional pumpkin pickers are prone to pick the plumpest pumpkins. A little bit faster. Professional pumpkin pickers are prone to pick the plumpest pumpkins. And the fastest we possibly can, say it with me. Professional pumpkin pickers are prone to pick the plumpest pumpkins. I think we're pretty warm. How do you feel about that, Brad?
That feels great. That feels great. So now that we've got our voices and our bodies warmed up, let's warm up that final tool of an actor we mentioned before. There's voice, body, and then imagination. So let's get our imaginations really, really toasty and going here. So let's put our storyteller hats on, boop, and work together to tell some scary stories around this digital campfire. So, but first, before we go, a lot of you I know have participated in the sort of the story writing contest. You probably know some of these basics of storytelling. I'm gonna hit them real fast. So when we talk about a story has three basic parts: a beginning, a middle, and an end. But a story is a lot like an ice cream sandwich in the sense that an ice cream sandwich has three parts. There's the chocolate cookie on top and the bottom, and then the creamy ice cream in the middle. So, like that, the middle is different. So, what's special about the middle of a story is it has a magic word we call conflict. The story has a beginning, the middle, where a bunch of problems and conflict happens that the protagonists or the heroes have to overcome, and then there's the end. And then there's also one thing quickly I want to discuss called the 5 W's. The 5 W's of storytelling. So these are who, what, where, when, and why. So these just tell us more about what's happening in the story. So we're going to tell a spooky ghost story together. So we got to think about who is it about. It could be about maybe two siblings who are lost in the woods, things like that. And where spooky stories often take place in places like maybe the middle of an abandoned cottage in the woods at night, maybe by a creepy mountain lake, or maybe a family got their car stuck in the mud and they have to go out on foot. So those are kind of the circumstances, who, what, where, and why of a scary story. So we're going to play a game called Fortunately, Unfortunately. How this game works is we're going to take turns adding a single short sentence to our story. And so we're going to, I will start it off. And for example, I could say, let's say Sarah was walking through the woods at night and all she had was her flashlight. And then the next person will say, fortunately, her flashlight had lots of batteries. And the next person could add, unfortunately, she was lost and didn't know where to go. And so we'll build on the story together. And we're going to take turns telling our scary ghost story together like that. And keep in mind, let's keep each of the additions we add about to one sentence and keep it generally short. Whenever we're improvising like this, there is no wrong answer. Whatever comes to mind, whatever the first idea is, as long as it's fortunate or unfortunate for whoever our hero is. Nina, you want to join me here? All right, so what we'll do, let's start out. I'll say it was a dark and stormy night, and there was a frog named Frederick who was alone on his lily pad in the middle of the night. And then, Nina, you can add more. Let's say you add a fortunate event to the story.
Right. Frederick, who's on that lily pad, just felt in his frog body that he was hungry and needed to find something to eat. Maybe he needed to find a fly.
And then Nina would pass this along to,
we'll just say it's
me again, and I would say, unfortunately, there were no flies to be seen. So Frederick decided to hop off his lily pad and go hunt for food. And basically, we can start to build the story. That's the beginning. You can build sort of the problems that Frederick encounters as we go along. It could be ghosts. It could be a zombie. It could be a vampire fly. I don't know, whatever we want. So let's give this a try.
Ghostly circus. So when you think about horror movies, horror in general, the main principle about horror acting is reacting. That's what sells any sort of scary thing, is reaction of the other person. So this little exercise here is, think of it as like a guided meditation, except it's not exactly very relaxing. So what we're gonna do is that I will be speaking some truths into existence. So this could be like you're exploring on a dark hollow's eve and you hear an owl in the distance. Those kind of things I'll be saying. So whatever I'm saying, which is another principle of acting that is super, super important in horror, is taking it as the truth. So in this case, what I'm saying is the truth. So you as the actor who's reacting to what I'm giving you, you are going to say in your minds and in your reactions, yes. And in improv or other types of play acting, this would also lead into and. So building on top of that. For this particular one, you can choose to do that. But if you just want to react to the given circumstance of what I'm saying to you, that's totally fine. And I'm here in a little bit, I'm going to have Brad also reacting with us. So you can watch both of us. I'll be reading. One of the cool things, like I mentioned a little earlier, we have some sounds that are going to be playing as we're doing this to really set the tone. We have some STG friends who are doing that, which is awesome. Just a little bit of warning, like it's a little ghostly, it's a little eerie. There's I don't think it gets very scary. There might be some wolves howling, some witches brewing, all those different things. But if it gets a little too scary, be sure to let us know. Or if you want to turn down the sound a little bit, that's okay. Other things is just move as much as you feel is good for your body. So if that means you're reacting to a witch coming out of nowhere, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do a full body ooh or anything. It can also just be, oh, maybe it's a little subtle. Whatever it happens to be, you can make your own choices with that. Another fun thing to go about this exercise is try to determine for yourself who is your character going through this activity. Are you doing this as you, how you personally would walk through this journey? Or maybe you want to go through it as like, maybe you're a ghost hunter. Maybe you're Frankenstein's monster. Maybe you're a ghost and you're experiencing this. You can make that choice for yourself. And if you happen to watch this later as a recorded content, then maybe you can do it again and try a different character, a different choice. So let's go ahead and try this. The host is
all right. Here I come, Nina. I'm going to be kind of a scaredy so cat, like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
I love
That's my choice.
And finally, the one last note I want to give is that I might be saying something that I might say, and let's go to neutral. What that just means, it could mean for you that you're walking, you're moving, just like at a leisurely pace, whatever that happens to be for you. So basically what your center is, what your normal is, whatever that means for you. All right, if everyone's ready, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're moving around our space. We're moving, we're grooving, we're having a wonderful day. You know, it's nice and sunny out. Might not, yeah, it's pretty sunny out. It's pretty good for Seattle, let's say about that. So we're on our journey on a nice sunny day on the sidewalk. Maybe we hear some birds in the distance. Oh, that's nice. It's super nice. Wait, it starts to rain. Aw, man, this again. It's raining. Maybe it's getting a little harder too. Oh, there it is. Man, and I didn't bring an umbrella. But I need to get where I need to go. Got to start my day. Don't have an umbrella. Walking. I need to get out of this rain. So maybe there's a bunch of trees nearby in the woods. That's a reasonable path to go on. So let's go into this woods. You know, the trees will cover the rainfall, so you make your way there. That'll keep you dry. There it is. Okay, it's a little bit better. All right. But oh no, it's starting to get dark outside. Dark in the woods, probably not a very good recipe. Looking around. Wait, what's that sound? Is that an owl? Where's that sound coming from? Crows, too? The sound gets louder when you decide to follow it, because that's the reasonable thing to do here. Maybe there's something cool at the end. You don't know. So you're walking, or you're moving your way towards whatever sound this happens to be. And you hear a crunching of leaves. Is that a branch? Crunch, crunch, crunch. Right behind you. Is that you? Or is that the person behind? Is there a person behind you? Is it an animal? I don't know. Better look behind. Maybe you start moving a little faster. A little faster. Still hear that behind us. I don't know. Ugh. But the leaf sounds are pretty nice. Gotta love the fall weather. So you're moving a little faster, but luckily, you find somewhere to hide. Hide from whatever is behind you. You find a lake. Oh, look at that. Some cool blue water. Maybe it'll shock you, bring you back to where you need to be. So you dip a toe in. You start wading. This actually feels pretty good. So you're wading in the water. You start moving deeper and deeper and deeper, wading through the water. Maybe you're about knee height. Seems like whatever was following you is lost interest. But just to be safe, maybe we move a little deeper. So right now we're at knee level. How does that affect how you move? Is it like walking through sand? How does that feel? Does it slow you down? And we're continuing to wade through the water. Maybe it gets up to your waist. Is it more difficult to move around your legs, your arms, whatever appendages you're using to move? Check your surroundings just to make sure that whatever that was behind you is gone and nothing else is around. How does it change how you move? Do you feel safe? Wading through the water. Continuing to move. Maybe it gets a little bit higher. Maybe it's at like chest or neck level. Oh, maybe this is a little too deep. Maybe I went a little too far. Getting awfully hard to move, right? And release, back to neutral. You're just moving back along on your old day. Wonder what that was about just now. So it's still a sunny day, a sunny day. The rain has cleared. You're moving, you got things to do today, so you're moving along through the sidewalk. You continue moving, and you notice the wind starts picking up. Oh, it's a lot of wind. Oh, it's really getting windy. Like, super windy. It's actually a little scary how strong this wind is. You start seeing stop signs being blown over. You gotta dodge them. Oh, no. That's a lot. You see leaves swirling. You literally see the wind shaking trees, all those things. So you gotta be careful. Avoid them. But you got somewhere to be. You keep on the same path, and you start hearing some interesting sounds in the distance. Huh, this is kind of familiar. You're listening. You can't really place exactly what it is. What is that? Is that whispering? Is that more wind? I don't feel wind. What could this be? Is that maybe a wolf in the background? No, it can't be. I don't know. So you drop it. You're done with that. You know what? It's probably nothing. So you keep moving as far as you can. You get to the end of the block. And you see an abandoned house. Is that a witch cackle? A bubbling cauldron, maybe? In the neighborhood? Oh my goodness, you never know. So this piques your interest. You want to go exploring. So you make your way closer to the abandoned house. Maybe against your best interest. But you're so curious, you want to know. Maybe they're just making stew. It's the wind really knocked it out of you. So you go exploring, you peek inside the window. And you see witches gathering and looking your way through the window. Ooh, mistake. Not a very good idea. They start moving towards you. You realize you gotta go. So you get away as fast as you can. Get away from the window. You back up, you get out of that front lawn, and you book it as fast as you can. You make your way down the sidewalk again. And once the coast is clear, you realize maybe the witches are just up here. I don't know. Sure is a weird day in Seattle. And you return to your day and back to neutral. Awesome. Yay. Good job, everyone. Awesome. So let us throw it back to Brad for our next activity.
Cool. Thanks, Nina. That was super fun. I loved going on that adventure. So Nina showed you how to sort of different ways and situations how you would react with your body to all these kind of scary Halloween situations. So I want to talk a bit about using our voices to embody different characters. So there are different ways to, these are kind of sort of voice acting techniques as well. I'm going to teach you right now how to achieve different voices of different creatures and different kind of Halloween characters. So when we're working on voice acting technique, there are 3 things to think about. Our register, our resonance, and our placement. What I mean by those is our register is kind of how high or low our voice can go. Like, for example, this is kind of my natural register when I speak, but I could also make it lower and speak a little bit down here. Obviously, it looks weird. I'm kind of talking like this. I look like Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars. But again, this is just voice acting. So it doesn't matter what we look like physically. We're just doing our voices. So you can be normal resonant register. You can kind of go lower or a little bit higher. Perhaps it doesn't have to be all the way up here, but it could be kind of a little bit higher. There's just kind of a lightness to our voices when it's higher in a register. So we can play with that. So to warm up our registers, do this with me. Kind of, we're going to make a little siren with our voices. So we're going to go, when I'm here, it's going to be normal. We're going to go down and up like that. So we're kind of just going to go a basic like a, kind of like if you're singing. And we're going to follow along with my hand. When I go down, we're going to go down, up, we're going to go high. So like this. Nice. We can see kind of, you see, and really, let's do it one last time, really focusing on what it feels like in our mouth to move our voice up and down like that. Really focus on just how your voice and the sounds coming out of your mouth feel. Cool. So we're going to move on to resonance. So, I should say also, when this is the science of it for all the science nerds out there like me. So how it works is when our voice goes higher and lower, our larynx is going up and down. And so what our larynx is, it's kind of a hollow muscular organ that forms an air passage to our lungs and holds our vocal cords and our voice box. So as we speak, kind of these muscles in the larynx bring the vocal cords together, and the air rushing from the lungs through the larynx kind of vibrates our vocal cords, and that's how the sound is produced. Just a little fun fact there. So let's go and move on to resonance. So resonance is kind of, there's different resonance chambers in our face, kind of in our chest. So the spots I'm thinking of are the chest, the mouth, and the nose. If you've ever tried to do, kind of what I just did earlier, kind of like a nerd voice, you know that sometimes you can place the resonance into your nose and it sounds more nasal. Easier said than done though. So how we can kind of learn to do this with our voice is we can kind of give me a hum, a basic when you hum with your voice like that, you should feel your lips kind of vibrating. So try to hum. Do you feel your lips vibrating a little bit? So if you feel that, we can try to take that vibration and move it up to our nose like this. you kind of feel a vibration in your nose when you do that. You can also kind of move it down to your chest. It should be kind of, you should feel it resonating kind of around lower down here. It's subtle, so it takes practice. So all of these voice acting techniques, this is an introductory sort of seminar. It takes a lot of practice to learn how to do this. So it won't be perfect at first, but it's okay. With practice, you'll be doing great voices in no time. The last thing I want to say is the placement. This one is sort of where you're kind of placing your voice. So it could be forward in the mouth, kind of back in the throat, or kind of to the side. Like let's just say ba, 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 and we'll kind of try to follow along where I'm going to send the placement, try to feel if it moves around your mouth. So if we're going to do the lips, we would go ba, 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 ba. It should feel kind of forward with your lips. Ba, 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 ba. If we put it back into our throat, ba, ba, ba. It's like an old man. Or like a ba, 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 ba. It's kind of back there in our throat. And again, practice will help you get there. You can also kind of go ba, 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 ba to the side and kind of do a voice. That's kind of, I don't know what that voice is, but you can kind of alter where the placement is in your mouth, and that will help you sort of alter your voice. So again, that's register, resonance, and placement. The ways to practice that at home, if you want to, like in the shower or in your room by yourself, because it looks a little silly, doesn't it? But if you practice by yourself, no one's going to see it. So again, that siren going, the humming, bringing the humming up and down into your nose and your chest, and then sort of like ba, 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 sort of seeing where the placement feels in your mouth. Okay, so that's enough of that. Let's move on to some different sort of Halloween archetypes of monsters. So I think a witch would be a great example to start with. So I'm going to talk you through making kind of a witch voice, and you can just do it with me kind of as we go. So for a witch, you probably want it to be like a higher register. So we'll go like your register's here. We might place it a little bit higher. Place the witch high like this. So if it's high here, then we can add our other layers on. So we could, after we have high register, we can make it kind of nasal. So it's high and nasal. If it's high and nasal, it's kind of here. And then the witch voice kind of, you have a thing called a soft palate back here. I don't have time to go into that, but you kind of like really feel like the voice is high and raised. And then your witch voice can be a bit like this. Perhaps you might place it forward in your mouth and keep it nasal and high. That might be a witch voice, yes. So yeah, a witch could be kind of, nasally, higher, placement like that. Then moving on to maybe like a goblin or some creature like that. A goblin would be like maybe a medium register, keeping it nasal. Like a goblin might be here, normal register, keep it nasal though. You can basically place it up in your nose, your register, and then you can do things like that. Maybe it might be a little bit lower than a witch, but it might be kind of similar. You can put the placement in your lips like that. Put it really forward and nasal. That could be a goblin, things like that. And then a ghost, for example. A ghost could be higher register. Keep it light and high because ghosts are ethereal. They're not of this world anymore. And it could be high and sort of keep the resonance in your mouth. Maybe you could place the placement back in your throat. Like high register, mouth, but place it back in your throat. Could be a ghost like that. So the placement should feel back here. And it could be a creepy ghost like that. Good. And my favorite is a vampire. We're going the goofy, a Dracula vampire. So a vampire like this could be a kind of a lower register. So my voice is here. The vampire might be down here. So this is just my voice, but deeper. I've taken the resonance and put it down into my chest. It's coming from here, this resonance. So then I might do low register and keep the resonance in my chest. But then I might make for the vampire, all about biting and fangs. So I'll keep the placement very forward. And my articulators, your articulators are your tongue, your lips, and your teeth, and your jaw even are your articulators. A vampire will use very articulate, keep your articulators very crisp like this.
keep it low, perhaps, and then keep it in the chest. But then you might make it your articulators very crisp. A vampire might be, and then you can always do the bleh, or do a bit of an accent if you want. You could do your W's like V's. What is this? Things like that. So you can play around with a vampire being like that. The last one I want to do is a zombie. So a zombie.
I got another one. Sorry. I was going to ask, could everybody practice those voices by saying the word vampire, witch, werewolf in those voices just one time so that I get a chance? But I didn't realize we didn't do zombie yet. So. Oh,
that's great. Yeah, we'll do zombie, then we'll hit them all and practice together. Okay. So zombie, we'll do very fast. Zombie is just keep it kind of low. And chest resonance. And you can even talk to the side of your mouth and just go, brains. Keep it low, but zombies just sort of drone on and say brains. So you can do that. But yes, that's a great idea. Let's go down the list and we'll say each of the monsters' names or what they are in the voice. So repeat after me. We'll go back to our high nasal witch. A witch will be here. So say with me, witch. That's great. And then we'll do the goblin is here. Goblin. And then ghost will be here. Say ghost. Then vampire will be the vampire's there. Vampire. And the last one we'll say is a zombie. So if you can practice those at home. And again, it takes time to get those really sounding good. But once you do, you can do all kinds of weird voices like that. And you can even do werewolf howls as well. So I'm going to pass this over to Nina. There you go.
Okay. Hey, I think we're running a little out of time for my activity, but I'm going to get you started. So maybe you can take this and do it on your own at another time. So this is something I like to call monster movement. So we're going to take some principles that we learned from Brad just now with we got some beginnings of some characters there. We got our vampires, we got our ghosts, we got our goblins, all those different things. So having those voices in mind, we're going to add a little body, add a little face. So right now what we're going to do is I might give you a suggestion like vampire. So when I say something like that, we're going to give a little bit of that. What does a vampire embody? Is it very closed off, very high tension? Is it something like that? You can also play with how much of that characteristic you might want to hide. Want to be, maybe you're a vampire in hiding. Maybe you want to blend in. Maybe you want to be a little more Twilight, So in that case, we can have a little scale here. You can go from 0 to 10. So what that could look like, to give an example, is let's say vampire. And if I give a number, let's say 10. So that is full on vampire. You're not hiding anyone. You are Nosferatu. So you're bringing in the hands, maybe you're scrunching your face, maybe you're baring your teeth, whatever that happens to be, you're full on vampire. Maybe you can add in that voice too, whatever Brad had done with the high, whatever resonance you had just done. Or we can go the opposite way. Let's say, let's give it a 3. So if I was a vampire at 3, that could be a little subtle hint of a vampire. Maybe it just means oh, I noticed that I have an aversion to garlic. Maybe I sparkle a little bit. Maybe I can't do the sun. But it's something that you might not notice at first glance. Play with a couple of those different numbers, some variations. So if you know what a 3 looks like and you know what a 10 looks like, maybe play around, what does an 8 look like? How does it differ from a 7? How do you crank that dial of vampireness to more of a normal? So this can be done with any of the voices that we just did with Brad. Just to give you some suggestions to do later. Maybe this could be Frankenstein, could be Frankenstein's monster, vampire, witch, werewolf, goblin, mummy, ghost, zombie. Maybe it's a spider. Maybe it's something more animalistic that I'm not even thinking of. So how about we just do one before we end, just to give a little taste, all right? So having that in mind, let's start with werewolf. Maybe you're at the beginning of your transformation. So let's go with a cute 2. So you're existing, but maybe like you can feel the hairs start to come up from your shoulders, something like that. Got that? Maybe let's freeze in whatever you think the 2 is for a werewolf. All right. So in the count of 3, we freeze. Okay. So when we get to 0. So in 3, 2, 1, give us our favorite 2 in werewolf pose. Whatever that happens to be. All right. And release that. And let's go in the opposite direction. Let's take a goblin. Now, woo, that kind of thing. Let's go the opposite direction. Let's give it a full-on 10. Let's look at what that might look like as a snapshot. All right? Keep that in your mind. See how that feels in your body. And in the count of 3, let's show again what that snapshot might look like. All right? In 3, 2, 1, give us our favorite 10 out of 10 goblin. And go. Awesome. I'm seeing some really great ones out there. Good work, everyone. And you can do this again on your own time. But for right now, I'd like to say goodbye and thank you all. So Brad, if you don't mind joining me right now.
Oh, yeah.
So some things to think about as we leave you today is I like to end things with a recognition of our work. So this could be a shout of affirmation. So if you're doing this lesson with another person, be sure to tell each other something that they did that you both enjoyed that the other did. Or if you're doing it yourself, be sure to be kind to yourself.
Tell them you did a good job. I wonder, maybe I'm frozen. Can't tell.
Did I freeze?
I'm not sure. I might have froze. One of us froze.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, just tell the other person that they did a good job. Maybe be specific about what they did. And if you're doing it by yourself, be sure to be kind to yourself and think of one thing that you did today in this lesson that you thought was awesome. Maybe show what you did or what you learned to a friend or an adult later. And Brad, how about you do our last one here on our list?
So am I doing the share your feedback? Oh, no, right. Oh yeah, you can, Halloween's coming up, you can do these activities at home, share them with your family and friends, and push yourself to outside the comfort zone, and remember that you always want to have fun while you're doing this. So we did a great job. I think we should end with a thing called a firework clap. I like to do as a group. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clap like this, and then we're gonna snap our fingers, and some fireworks like that, okay? Do it with me on 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. Firework clap, great job. You all are fireworks.